What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 41 and a combined week 42 recaps. I apologize. I've been a little bit busy traveling. As you can see, in another hotel, I'm actually in Columbus, Ohio at a PTA convention. If you guys don't already know, I'm very active in my kids' elementary and junior high PTAs. I help get men on the campus, basically just help to get more volunteers, and that's kind of the scheme of things there. But we're at a national convention in Columbus, Ohio, so it's a little bit ironic that I was here just a few months back at the Animal Cage at the Arnold. I'm literally staying in the same hotel, and the convention is in literally the same room as the Arnold was, so it's a little bit different scenery, that's for sure. But getting back to the training recaps, as you guys know, if you've been following along the last few weeks, been working up pretty heavy on bench, feeling really good. And with the hopes of doing a competition, trying to push 705 or 700 here in the very near future. So the plan was to go in, let's see, this would have been last week, to do 675. And if that was, felt great, then I would go to 685. And then the plan was to do a meet in Austin, Texas. It was an RPS meet that I was thinking about doing, and try to peak just properly for that and do 700. That did not go as planned, which sometimes, most of the time, your training schedule does not go as planned. But I do want to post this recap, give you guys some insight on the last couple of weeks. Obviously, things didn't go as well as I would have liked, and that happens. It's no big deal. Some of you guys out there that are fighting your own battles for 300, 315, 200, 400, 500, whatever the case may be, just take a little bit of encouragement from my recaps and my training that it is okay. It's fine if you don't hit your numbers all the time. In fact, I don't hit my numbers as much as it probably looks like. Now, I do want to stress that I don't max out all the time. So normally when I hit my numbers perfectly, it is when it's submaximal. When I start getting up into the 1 rep max range, anything can happen. Literally, as you'll see here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and show you guys the 675 attempt from my week 41. This was done about 2 weeks ago, and let you guys kind of see what went down on that. Let's see, having some technical difficulties here. All right, so I started, this was my last heavy single here, or one of my last heavy singles, 615. Felt great. Went ahead and jumped to my last single here. This is 645. Felt pretty good there. This is 675. This would have been a matching of a gym PR. Drifted back over my head there just a hair. I'm looking back on it, there's a lot of things I could do. Went ahead and tried it again. I felt like I had plenty of energy, didn't get to fight it. Hit the freaking block. That's one thing that some of the stupidest things in the world can keep you from hitting your PRs. And as you'll see right there on the left side of the screen, I hit the block, and you'll see there's a 1-inch gap there. Absolutely, I wanted to take it again. I wouldn't normally encourage doing that, but because if you look back on those two lifts, literally I didn't get to press it very much, so I wasn't gassed, I wasn't tired from that. I was a little bit tired obviously on the third time trying 675, but mind you, none of those were literally like I didn't get to go full throttle until literally the end. But with that said, I did walk out of the gym with my head held, a little bit lower than I would have liked. Obviously, I missed a number. I did my accessories and things like that, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more important, just to let you know kind of what my mindset was. So right away, I thought, okay, there's no way if I'm not hitting 675, something's not right. And obviously, there's a sticking point that I have about 6 inches, 5 inches up off my chest, and it just literally got exposed last week, or the week previous to the 675, and with the 665. Didn't have an issue at all with 650, which is surprising because normally a sticking point will identify itself earlier at least in my training, than it did this particular go round. I did start working on some more tricep exercise, some more seal rows, which is for your back, weighted dips, some partials, dead presses. There's a slew of accessories that we can throw in and work on that. And my dead press is probably my favorite. But 1 week is just not enough time to strengthen that sticking point. It's going to take at least a month and a half of solid training, and that's with deloads and everything. So probably about 2 months or 8 weeks worth of true training for me to truly get past the sticking point and start strengthening it. And that's just not enough time for me to do a meet, obviously the end of June, and definitely not enough time for me to attack the weight going forward. So here's what I basically did for the end of that week. The 675 week, I did some more accessories, obviously working on the sticking point and really working on the weakness. Was thoroughly sore through the back and the triceps. I definitely worked them harder. Absolutely recovered 100%. I did, instead of hitting bench on Monday, I actually hit it on the very next Tuesday. So I gave myself an extra day rest. Went in feeling 100%, literally was excited. 675 for a while, and I guess technically still, but it's not so much a mental block for me anymore. It's literally just timing at this point. But went in and when I had the 675 on the bar, as you just saw, I wasn't intimidated by that. I looked at the weight and it didn't freak me out or anything. I mean, sometimes we have those things, when you have a 315 or a 405 or 500 and 495, and you have that extra plate on there, it can throw you off mentally sometimes. I didn't have that issue at all, which was very much encouraging to me. And so as I'm looking at the weight while I was warming up, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to smash this. So it literally was just that day, it just wasn't strong enough. It wasn't a mental block at all, which is a huge, huge win for me, because at this level, strength obviously matters, but mental block, if you have that, it's almost defeated before you even get to the weight. So with that said, I thought about it long and hard through that week after I missed it. And went ahead and said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and try this one more time. If I can just absolutely just nail 675 and go through that sticking point, don't drift back, hit a perfect form rep, then I think we can still salvage this meet prep. And even if I maybe not would be prepped enough to do a 700 bench within a couple of weeks of this 675 fail, at least do a PR in a meet. And that way we could just inch up the PR a little bit, maybe do a 677, my best right now is 672, or even maybe a 683, and then just kind of go from there, maybe on a fourth, and try to inch up a little further. That kind of fell apart, as you guys will see here in a second. I'll show you what I did the next week on week 42 was went in and actually did a, let's see what we got here. Went in and did 680, and so that was for two reasons. One, it gets me a little bit closer to what my projected training weight was going to be on week 42 was 685. Had I had a successful 675 on week 41, since that didn't happen, I was going to go take 675 again, and to kind of help with the mental block and also to kind of make up the difference, if I could. I was just going to go 680. Put 680 on the bar, those 2.5s. It didn't, it's just cookies on there basically. And was going to smash that and go ahead and set a PR in the gym and set the tone to see if I could salvage this particular meet prep. There really isn't a lot of pressure. I'm not devastated that I didn't hit it. I definitely, at this level, I appreciate any good days that I have, and the bad days I just learn from them and just move on. I would much rather live to fight another day. And as you guys know, and if you follow my training, you know that last year, before I went 2100 in a full meet, I didn't bomb out, but I didn't do what I thought I would do at a full meet just 8 weeks prior in June, literally about a year ago from this date now. I went in and I was saying, I was going to road to 2100. I'm going to hit 2100, and I missed, almost missed one of my last training lifts. I went in and actually nailed a 705 squat. I'm sorry, backing up. I'm jumping ahead of myself. This was for the June meet. So I hit all my numbers perfect. And then I went into the meet and got a 1984, which, hey, that's a good number, but it's not 2100. And, of course, I felt like there was a lot of things I could work on. I didn't hit any of my lifts the right way. My mental state was off that particular day, and it happens. Went back to the drawing board and literally had really a bumpy ride for the next few weeks trying to train, and actually missed my last squat with 680. I didn't hit depth the first time, and on the second time it was just an absolute grinder. So to me, it wasn't really a successful lift. Had I, or that I was wanting to go into the meet and do 700 on squat, it just seemed outrageous for me to be able to say that I was going to do that. So going into the meet the week right before, I missed that 680 squat and was thinking I'm going to have to lower my opener and really start thinking about a different projection for the meet. And still saying that I wanted to hit 2100, but I was trying to be realistic. Went to the meet and just absolutely annihilated the 705 squat, and probably could have had 720, and did my 2100 total. And so that's my story. That's my life in general. So you guys see these training numbers going on, and you might see me trying after, going after a number for a while on a particular lift. This particular one being bench, and it is discouraging when you don't hit your numbers, but it's encouraging because it's part of the journey. It is fun, and unless you're having fun, if it's just devastating you and you're just absolutely frustrated as hell, you probably want to pick a different sport. Or learn to deal with that. It does bother me, but it doesn't devastate me. I can go home and hang out with my kids and do something else and live my life, and then come back to the gym and it's go time again. And I don't sit there and dwell on it. It's not like it's the end of the world. So with all that said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into week 42 and let you guys see my attempts here, working up to the 680. Show you guys the warm up, just to show you guys how everything is really clicking today. Hit the block there, and obviously go ahead and move that out of there, and no big deal on that. 585 warm up. This tells me where I'm at pretty much for the day, because this definitely needs to be a speed rep. Good to go. 615 warm up, mimicking the exact same warm up that I did for the 675 day. Moving smooth, perfect press. 645, exact same weight. Now I did bring my grip in just a little bit on this day, thinking I could maybe utilize some triceps a little bit more. So here's the big guy right here, 680 pounds, solid spot, solid lift off. Literally everything about the lift was perfect. I don't think I could have done much better. And I just hit that sticking point right there. And I held it as long as I could, and triceps started burning. They went ahead and grabbed it. That's obviously the smart thing to do. But that 680 tells me that, yes, I could probably do a meet and probably I could peak with rest and probably get about a 683. But I talked with my coach, and I urge you guys, if you have a coach, listen to him. And yes, absolutely, I could rest for about 10 to 12 days and probably go in and do a pretty damn good bench in a meet. But here's what I really want to do. I don't want to settle for a 680 bench. I am not hurt. I am not peaked at this point. I feel like I am strongest as I've ever been. I just need to fix a few things on the technique, which is absolutely huge. It can add 20, 30 pounds to your lift just like that. But it takes time. It's not going to be 1 or 2 days worth of work or 2 weeks worth of work. So I am committed to Boss of Bosses. It's in San Francisco, Mountain View, California. And that is going to be August 24th and 26th, I believe, that weekend. I'm going to be on the pro day, so I do have an invite. My plan is to go in and put up the biggest total that I possibly can. I don't have any numbers in mind, and I think I like it that way. I'm going to show you guys a couple of my squats from lately. I know you guys have been kind of following along on that. Those have been on the back burner. I believe that when I focus on my legs, my bench tends to get a little bit better because I put it on the back burner. So it's weird how that works, and I don't know how to explain that. I think it may just be that you get to a point where you just need to back off a little bit, reassess some things, change the technique up, and that's what I'm going to do. So for the next 8 weeks, I think I've got about seven and a half weeks till Boss of Bosses. The bench is going to get a little lighter. We're going to strip down some of that weight just to give myself a little bit of a break. I do have a little tendonitis in the elbows, nothing detrimental, but something I can definitely recover from. And I'm going to work on the sticking point, and I'm going to annihilate that sticking point. You're going to see that sticking point disappear at the 675, 680 weight. If anything, that sticking point might reappear as we get into the 700s, and that's a good thing because that'll be where I want to be for the meet anyways. So we're going to see the squat and deadlift numbers going up here in the next few weeks. We're going to see some serious PRs going down because they've already been going down. And I'm pretty excited because it gives myself some time to focus a little bit on the full meet and to establish myself a little bit higher on the list there. I've already got a 2100 total. With a little bit of extra weight that I've put on, I think I'm capable of some serious numbers. I just need to stay healthy. I want to show you guys real quick, last thing on the recaps, and this was last week. This is the week 41. I did not do any squat deadlifts on this previous week after the 680. Just took some time off. This is 635 for a triple. This is a gym PR. I could be a little bit lower. I will admit that. I cut it just a hair high. I didn't have anybody calling my depth, so it's kind of hard to tell where I'm at. It felt pretty good, and it's not horrible, but it's not to my standards, and I don't think I want to cut it that close in a meet, that's for sure. But going forward, believe this next week we're going to have about 650 for two. And that will be not a PR. I've got about a 660, I believe, for two for squat PR. But that's my squat there. And had another PR as well on my deadlifts. This is my last warm-up, 675, just to get a feel, prime the CNS, get everything going. And then go ahead and put 715 pounds on the bar here. The goal here was actually going to just be to see if I could get this for three. And first one went up, but a little slow. But the first one's always a little slower. The second one here flew up, so I am happy with that. I felt like I could have definitely got another one, but like I said, previous videos, my goal the last few weeks, and honestly, while I'm in bench prep, was not to max out at all for my legs. Now that we are in some meet prep for Boss of Bosses and the full meet, going to go ahead and ramp it up on the legs and let the RPEs fly a little bit higher. And if you're not familiar with RPEs, let's just go ahead and relate that to like the RPMs of a car. Lately I've been keeping them pretty low just to keep the engine cool and not hot and overheating. As we get closer to a meet, I'm willing to let those RPMs go up a little bit. I don't want to really be in the red, but I'll let them go a little higher. So we're going to see probably some over-under grip is what I normally do. I'll drop the straps, and we're going to start doing paused deadlifts at the bottom, paused squats even, and we're going to see those numbers go up, and we'll see what happens. But I wanted to fill you guys in. I know this is more of a chatting video than I normally do. No Q&As this week just because it's been a little bit hectic, but I will get back on that, I promise. But definitely, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. But if you have any training relationship or any way that you can relate in your training, I'd love to hear about it, and just let me know in your comments. I think it would definitely encourage others that are at your level. Sometimes there's a disconnect. I am up here at a fairly elite level with my bench, obviously, and my full power. That some of you guys may not feel like you can relate, and I would love to be able to communicate the way that I am in my training and my recovery and just my thought process to you guys as well. And it might help if some of you guys out there that are at the 315 level or 135 or whatever it is, just kind of chat amongst yourselves sometimes, because that's just encouraging to each other. It may be a little bit hard to understand how it feels to be a 600 or 500 plus pound bencher, squatter, that kind of thing. But the principles are exactly the same. I haven't changed anything other than maybe my mindset in a positive way since I've gotten stronger. But literally, I remember the other day, it's literally feels like it's the other day that I was benching 405 or benching 315. And I really escalated pretty quick in the powerlifting world and the weightlifting game. But I've learned quite a bit by doing so, and I've also been able to relate that to people, and I hope I can continue to, But I definitely appreciate all you guys' support, staying along with my journey. The road to 700 is not over. It's not going to be easy, and never said it was. There's no time limit on it. I'm 38 years old, so I'm definitely not getting any younger, but I feel best I've ever felt. I just want to, while I've got it, go ahead and throw some squats and deadlifts in the game while I'm working on my bench. And shortly thereafter, we're going to be back to bench. It seems like maybe there might be a bench only meet sometime in September, October, November-ish, the end of the year, where we can kind of slingshot ourselves, no pun intended, from a good successful meet or just a fun meet, even if, there's no guarantees of anything at Boss of Bosses. See if we can't put up a decent number there. And as the bench number grows, maybe we could even do a PR in bench in a full meet, which I would love to have a shot at. There's some all-time records in full meets that I would like to do. So bench is not taking a back seat at this moment. We're going to work on some things, fix some technique, just stepping off the gas a little bit so that I can do that. I would never advocate to anybody to focus on working on your technique and speed and your sticking points at max weight. It's just not smart. So don't get discouraged at my journey. I am not at all. I'm very happy about what we're doing. I'm excited, staying very much excited about things. But if you guys don't follow me already on Instagram, find me over there at SwimHack. If you guys don't know about my website, check it out, benchonly.com. I've got a few t-shirts for sale. My raw bench press shirt is very, very popular. This is not my shirt, but if you guys are seeing it, check them out. Massonomics makes this shirt. It's a Jefferson deadlift. Really, really cool company. They do a podcast. Check them out on YouTube. Check them out on Instagram. Definitely a good bunch of guys over there. And definitely like and subscribe to this channel. Follow me along my journey. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I will get some things together as the recaps are starting to form for Boss of Bosses. And stay tuned. It's getting exciting. Appreciate it.